Good evening. This is the monthly program of the Gay Liberation Network. A gay marriage bill has been introduced by the 3 openly gay legislators in Springfield, and an immigrant rights group has filed a suit challenging the Federal Defense of Marriage Act. With me tonight to discuss these topics is Gay Liberation Network's Brent Holman-Gomez. I'm Bob Schwartz.
Hi.
Now, as I mentioned, this bill has been introduced by the 3 openly gay legislators in Springfield calling for marriage equality. And I think what they're doing here is posturing for gay votes, and that the Speaker of the House, the powerful Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan, has no intention of calling this bill up for a vote. Now, what's your take on this, Brent?
I think that's a probably accurate and practical view, and sanguine as it is. On the other hand, there is never a right time to bring up the rights of our fellow people, and so the timing of this may be a method of building up the Democratic Party in a very partisan effort. And I think that your proposal there has quite a bit of value.
Well, I think Madigan doesn't want to call this for a vote because it would put some of his own members in a difficult position from their point of view. Democrats from areas where marriage equality might not be all that popular. But we want to do what's right by LGBT people, and not what's politically expedient for Mike Madigan. What about the fundraising potential here? Do you think that's another reason why these legislators have introduced this bill?
Bob, I think it's been pretty well documented and accepted that the LGBT community is a good monetary sponsor of the Democratic Party, and so your premise that the Democratic Party is using our rights as a way to get dollars for them, while perhaps only giving lip service at this point to the progression of our rights, is a valid critique, and we're going to talk about that on the federal level as well as on the state level here.
Yeah.
We do invite your calls in and your points of view for this discussion. The call-in number is 312-738-1060.
Before we move to calls, why don't we do some announcements that we want to get out for your attention and your action. The Gay Liberation Network has a web page, and it is on your screen now. You can go there to find out more about our organization and activities that we have planned for the future. On Saturday, April 21st at Pritzker Park, the corner of State and Van Buren, there will be a march for LGBTQ rights, and that will be at 12 noon on Saturday, April 21st. So please join us there in Pritzker Park. Nobel Prize winners shouldn't imprison Nobel Prize nominees. A group of Nobel Prize winners are meeting here in Chicago. There will be a protest on behalf of Bradley Manning, the alleged WikiLeaker who is said to have turned over information to WikiLeaks manager Julian Assange. That will be noon Monday, April 23rd at the University of Illinois at Chicago Student Center at 750 South Halsted Street. So please join us for that important protest in support of Bradley Manning. We will be marching on May Day this year as we have in years past. We will be meeting at Union Park at Ashland and Washington Boulevard 12 noon Tuesday, May 1st to make demands for immigrant rights. We will be protesting NATO in Chicago this May. Sunday, May 20th at 12 noon at Petrillo Bandshell in Grant Park, Jackson Boulevard, and Columbus Drive. So please join us for those important activities. We will be repeating these announcements toward the end of the show in case you need to record some of that information.
Has the marriage bill been introduced before in Illinois, or has it always been the civil union allocation that is currently in place?
The marriage bill was introduced by openly gay Representative Greg Harris, and then he withdrew it in favor of the civil unions bill, stating that the marriage bill couldn't pass, and then he championed the civil unions bill, which eventually did pass. Now it's worth noting that Governor Pat Quinn, like President Barack Obama, has been an opponent of gay marriage. He's hedged this way and that way, but he hasn't come out in support of the marriage equality bill that's now been introduced, as we've said, in the legislature. And I agree with you. There's never a bad time for the introduction of a gay rights bill. So, I mean, we certainly don't oppose the bill, while we question the motives of the people who are who have introduced it. So, what about this? What's going on the federal level? And we mentioned this this suit that's been filed against the Defense of Marriage Act.
Yeah. And if we can first, maybe talk about just in general what the Democratic Party has been doing on the federal level in the Obama administration. They have checked themselves at every stage of the conversation. As a candidate, Obama, wanted to leave it up to the states to decide things on marriage. The administration has fought very aggressively to keep Don't Ask, Don't Tell on the books, and keeping the military as a bigoted institution that keeps out LGBT folks. And that was only brought about and changed after much lobbying and aggression by the administration because of a court case that frankly was a Republican court case. It was the Log Cabin Republicans gay group had brought this case in Florida that was set to knock down Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and they were appearing like they were going to win, and that's what put the fire into the engines to get to get the Obama administration and Congress to start coming at a change to Don't Ask, Don't Tell in a quicker time frame with the Pentagon. But before that, the Obama administration had been doing everything in their power in different legislations to put longer time frames into proposals to remove Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And we've seen the same thing happen with them on the Defense of Marriage Act. Now, a year ago, in February of 2011, the Obama administration made headlines with this news that they were no longer going to defend the Defense of Marriage Act. It sounds wonderful. And the response was that the Republican Party, who had just won control of Congress, came forth and said, well, we are going to defend this law. We can't have, lesbian, gay, and bisexual people getting married, in same-sex couples all across the country. We're going to continue the Defense of Marriage Act. So LGBT people instantly responded in this knee-jerk response of, yay, the Democrats, Obama is backing us up, and the Republicans are their typical bad group of folks. However, there are currently three court cases going on for the Defense of Marriage Act. One that was just brought last week, and we're going to talk about in a little more detail. Two others predated the Obama administration, and during the first 2 years of the Obama administration, they had a full Democratic-controlled Congress. The Obama administration defended the Defense of Marriage Act tooth and nail through these two other cases that were brought in federal court, and they lost both cases. And those cases are now in appeal. And that is the time frame that Obama decided that he was going, and Eric Holder, the Attorney General, decided they had this epiphany of that they could not defend the unjust rules of the Defense of Marriage Act any longer. And they used it to their political gain, and it was a brazen, disrespectful act to the true issue of LGBT rights in this country. And it was using it as a political pawn in their game to make the Democrats look good to LGBT folks and make the Republicans look bad. So.
Now, what about this immigrant?
So the most recent news is right here, if you can see it on your screen, is a complaint against this government. Particularly against Eric Holder, the Attorney General, that was brought by 5 binational couples, as they are called. They are couples where one is a U.S. citizen, the spouse is an immigrant, and these couples have been married in states that permit it in the United States, and they are denied the benefits that would be typical of any other binational couple that is heterosexual in this country. And so it opens up a more specific case that is specifically on this issue of immigration benefits in the Defense of Marriage Act. What the Defense of Marriage Act does is, while you can go and get married in Massachusetts or many of these other states, you do not get any of the big benefits, which are the federal benefits. You don't get the tax benefit. You don't get Social Security benefits from a spouse, because the federal government doesn't recognize that you even have a relationship due to the Defense of Marriage Act bill. And so the previous 2 cases were brought on other aspects of discrimination that are occurring to couples that are legally married in these states, and they have both been found that Defense of Marriage Act is indefensible, and they were in their first level of federal court hearings. They are being appealed. The projection is that they're going to have to be appealed another couple of times and over another couple of years until they get to the Supreme Court for a true decision on this case. But there is now a third case brought April 2nd by a group called Immigration Equality as their sponsor of these 5 couples. And Immigration Equality has a website, immigrationequality.org, which has much more information where you can find the actual case.
And it's important to note in talking about the Defense of Marriage Act that as well as the Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the federal gay ban that, as Brent pointed out, has finally been repealed following this lawsuit by the gay Republican group, and putting pressure on the Obama administration to act. But both of these acts were signed into law by the Democrat Bill Clinton. This was not, the product of evil Republican machinations alone, although Republicans certainly played a role in their enactment. But Bill Clinton, Sam Nunn, the prominent Southern Democratic senator from Georgia, Barney Frank, the openly gay Democrat from Massachusetts, who helped Clinton get the bills passed in Congress. So we are going to be pointing out here, we are pointing out tonight, as we often do, that the assault on LGBT rights is a bipartisan one, and that the way to advance the envelope here for social progress is through pressure on all political parties. Direct action delivers the goods. And Brent and I were talking about this before the show. A recent example of effective direct action is what occurred in the Trayvon Martin case. I am thoroughly convinced, as I think many people are, that it was pressure by a massive mobilization of people, white and black, demanding that the officials in Florida take action to charge and arrest the not the neighborhood watch volunteer, but the gun-toting vigilante who killed this kid. And the evidence was there all along. The evidence presented by the special prosecutor, in part, yesterday in her affidavit. But it was public pressure that got the governor of Florida to appoint a public prosecutor, and that led to her filing these charges and to the arrest of the killer.
So, because the evidence existed prior. The evidence was going to be the evidence regardless.
Sure. I mean, it sounds like the evidence is there for a conviction. We'll see. But I think it's important that the pressure be kept up on the officials in Florida, on the court, the judge, and indirectly on the jury, if there is a jury. I'm not sure just how that's going to go. But public pressure is what delivers the goods, not relying on the police department in Sanford, which seriously dropped the ball, or on the prosecutor there who didn't act in a decisive way. So
we invite your comments. This concept brings up just the general political philosophy that we share here at Gay Liberation Network, and that is that change comes from the people, and through that it will eventually get to the halls of Washington or Springfield, Illinois. It is not the opposite. It's not the other way around. Progressive change for people's rights in this country does not come top down from our government. It is led by the people, and that's been shown historically in many ways, and in this most recent Trayvon Martin case as well. And it is both effective for legislative as well as judicial branch issues. And that's with these. So with what's going on with the current second-class status that we have here in Illinois of a civil union law, as well as with marriage, there are Republicans or whatever you want to call them out there that are that say heinous things, and they sound awful, and they're hurtful. But that doesn't mean that we necessarily have to fall back into the arms of these people that give us lip service and no action. I read a good column a year or two ago by a gay writer, and he said, I actually have sent some money to the Westboro Baptist Church people. These are the people that protest outside of events with, awful signs about the killing LGBT people. And he says that he does that because that shows the actual what bigotry actually looks like. And unfortunately, the words of Obama, which in the first couple of years of his administration definitely were the projections of a verbal nicety and an actual action to repress LGBT folks.
Well, the Democratic Party, certainly including Obama, but the Democratic Party for years, since it made the coalition with African Americans and labor and women, has said all the right things, particularly in the lead up to elections, to get votes, to present itself as an alternative to the mean old Republicans. But actions speak louder than words, and the actions of the Democratic Party time after time after time have been anti-labor, have been opposed to the rights of women, have failed to support the rights of LGBT people, or, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, under the Clinton administration, we got those two heinous acts, Defense of Marriage Act and the military gay ban, Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So again, it's pressure in the streets that will deliver the goods, pushing the envelope for social change.
Have some self-respect and do not vote for someone who doesn't actually get you your rights.
Okay, we'd like to go over these announcements one more time before we sign off. The March for LGBTQ Rights, 12 noon, Saturday, April 21st at Pritzker Park, the corner of State and Van Buren. Please try to join us there. The Nobel Prize winners are meeting in Chicago, and we're going to tell them, don't imprison the Nobel Prize nominee, Bradley Manning, who should not be jailed for having allegedly helped get out the truth. That's at noon, April 23rd. That's a Monday at the UIC Student Center at 750 South Halsted Street. We're marching on May Day this year, as we have for several years running, 12 noon, Tuesday, May 1st, at Union Park, which is located at Ashland and Washington Boulevard. This is in support of immigrant rights. We are participating in the protest against the NATO meeting here in Chicago in May. Sunday, May 20th at 12 noon, meet at the Petrillo Bandshell in Grant Park. That's at Jackson Boulevard and Columbus Drive. And there is a web page that you can go to for more information.
Cangate.org. Cangate.org.
Okay, great. Our next GLN meeting is at 7 p.m. Wednesday, May 2nd. That's at the Berger Community Center at Sheridan and Granville at 7 o'clock. The next GLN TV show is at 6:30 p.m. Friday, May 11th. Same channel, same time.